Yo soy una buena persona. De hecho, eso lo que escuché sobre esa familia, sobre esa pareja. Bueno, ¿por qué nos llama más la atención una persona en concreto que otra? Pues no lo sé.
Sé que es verdad y que son imaginaciones mías.
A man named Damien is very nervous before the reality show. Host Sergio asked him to tell his amazing story. Damien has been working as a carpenter for over 20 years. His father was not happy that the son didn't go to college, but Damien enjoyed working with his hands. This day didn't promise anything unusual, but at some point the boss asked Damien to come into his office. Damien didn't expect the boss to fire him. In a fit of anger, Damien broke some equipment and ran away. The boss chased after him. Damien had to climb into the back of a truck and hide in an antique closet. At that moment, workers arrived and sealed the closet's doors so that it wouldn't open during transport. Damien was trapped. He and the closet were taken to an unknown destination. Finally, the path came to an end. A woman's voice was heard, which seemed to belong to the mistress of the unknown house. The workers started moving the closet, unaware that there was a man inside it. When everyone had left, Damien emerged from the closet and began to think of a way to leave the house unnoticed. Hearing some noises, he immediately hid under the bed. A woman named Lucia entered the room. She is soon joined by her husband, who is perplexed as to why the wife chose to put the closet here, since this way it overlaps the other closet. According to the man, it was impractical, but the wife wants to leave everything as it is. Soon their daughter Maria returned home. She thought this closet was cool. It turned out that it belonged to Lucia's father, so it was dear to the family as a memory. Damien told the host that as he was hiding under the bed, a curiosity about this family was aroused in him. That evening, before going to bed, Lucia told Feed that the psychiatrist had prescribed her a new medication. The woman was clearly upset that her husband didn't care about what she was saying. Suddenly Damien's phone rang. He managed to turn it off before the household noticed the uninvited guest. When the spouses fell asleep, Damien crawled out from under the bed and used the bathroom. He did it quietly so as not to wake the residents of the house. Later, Damien peeked into Maria's room. When he made sure she was asleep, he was about to leave the house, but at the last moment he changed his mind. Damien was curious to learn more about this family, so he hid under the bed again. The next morning, Damien woke up along with the spouse's alarm. Soon all the family members left. Damien began to look around the house. The long sitting in an uncomfortable position made his back and neck ache. After closing the curtains, Damien found food in the refrigerator and had breakfast. Suddenly the phone rang. Of course, Damien didn't answer it. He washed all the dishes that were in the sink. Sergio asked him why he did it. Damien said there was a dishwasher in the house, but he preferred to wash dishes by hand. This process calms him down. On the same day, Damien changed his clothes. While no one was at home, he turned on the music and explored the closet, discovering that there was another closet behind it. Using his carpentry skills, Damien remodeled everything so that he could freely move from one closet to another. Hearing the sound of the engine, Damien hurried to hide. Lucia, who had returned home, found it strange that all the dishes were washed, as no one was here. When Lucia opened the closet door, she had no idea that there was someone behind the thin partition. Damien told Sergio that at that moment he felt like he was in another dimension. When Feed returned home, Lucia asked him if he had washed the dishes. The husband replied no. Lucia wondered how this was possible. Feed speculated that memory loss was a side effect of taking medication. Sergio asked Damien if anyone was looking for him. Damien said his parents had passed away a long time ago, and he had no real friends. So no one was looking for him. Damien also confessed that he felt happy in that house. The next morning, when the family members left, Damien came out of the closet again and had breakfast, washing all the dishes. Then he made the bed and fixed the commode in Maria's room. Lucia doesn't understand why there's such order in the house. At night, when the spouses fell asleep, Damien continued to explore the house. This continued day after day. In the absence of family members, Damien took a shower, watched TV, and did whatever he wanted. Lucia wants to understand why she forgets how she washes dishes or cleans the house. Despite this, the woman continues to take the medication prescribed by the doctor. One night when Damien came out of the closet again, he almost bumped into Maria, who had also woken up. The girl thought it was her imagination. In the afternoon, Lucia called her mother, confessing that since they brought in the grandfather's closet, she feels the presence of someone. Of course, Damien heard this conversation. The mother advised her daughter to throw away the closet, but she wants something to remain in the house that reminds her of a loved one. Later, Damien found a photograph of Lucia with her brother Jorge as children. During the reality show, the closet was presented to the audience. Sergio read the papers found by Damien. It turned out that Lucia often played in a closet with her twin brother in childhood. Unfortunately, Jorge passed away of an allergic reaction when he was 7 years old. Lucia continued to play in the closet, hoping that she would find her brother there someday. One day, Lucia climbed into the closet and began to talk to her brother. She believes that she feels his presence. Damien silently listened to her monologue. During the commercial break, Damien asked Sergio not to ask him any more questions about Lucia. But the host intends to do everything to arouse public interest. Sergio also hinted to Damien that he has a surprise for him. Once when the parents were not at home, Maria, who was skipping school, brought her buddy Raul. Damien did not have time to return to the closet, so he hid and listened as Raul asked Maria to keep some substances. The girl was afraid, but Raul assured her that everything would be fine. The young people went to Maria's room to package the goods. They did not suspect that there was someone else in the house. Damien listened as Raul tried to persuade Maria into something more. Maria asked him to stop, but Raul seemed not to hear her. Damien wanted to intervene but could not because it would give him away. At night, Damien heard Maria crying. When she fell asleep, he came into her room and took her phone. It turns out that Raul is blackmailing Maria with her provocative video. In the morning, the girl could not find her phone anywhere and had to go to school without it. When everyone left, Damien went outside. The neighbor waved to him, thinking it was Feed. Damien returned to the house. Later, Raul came, asking where Maria was. He thinks Damien is the girl's father. Realizing that something was wrong, Raul was going to leave, but Damien, who had prudently locked the door, ordered the guy to sit down. Damien told Raul that he knew all about it, and showing Maria's cell phone, advised him not to go near the girl again and to stop blackmailing her with that video. Raul became aggressive, so Damien attacked him, and then took the phone, intending to call the guy's parents and tell them about their son's bad deeds. Raul begged him not to do it and promised never to approach Maria again. The shooting was interrupted due to unforeseen circumstances. The audience became worried. While the camera crew was troubleshooting, Damien went to the dressing room. At that moment, Lucia approached him, laying her head on his shoulder and thanking. Lucia talked to her brother for a long time, confessing that she wanted to change something in her life, but on the other hand, the changes scared her. She began to doubt that it was Jorge. Perhaps it was something else, like her imaginary lover. She wondered what would happen if that ghost became real. Listening to this, Damien had conflicting feelings. It caused laughter from the audience. But Damien didn't care because Sergio or the audience didn't really exist. It was just better for Damien to talk to imaginary interlocutors than to himself. Now Damien doesn't like the questions about his obsession with Lucia. In the next moment, Sergio and the audience disappeared. Damien couldn't stop thinking about Lucia. Soon Sergio approached him, asking if everything was all right. Damien said he wanted to talk to a famous journalist, such as Inaki Gabilondo. He was the only journalist his father respected. Within a second, Inaki Gabilondo appeared next to Damien, who wonders what he thinks of his relationship with Lucia. The journalist suggested that Damien analyze everything again. Damien overheard Maria was fighting with her father. The girl was indignant about her father intimidating Raul. But Feed didn't understand what she was talking about. He didn't even know who Raul was. Maria locked herself in the room, calling her parents crazy. In the evening, Lucia called her mother in tears, saying she had no more strength. She wanted to leave the house with her daughter for a while. Lucia no longer knew what was real and what was not. Inaki accused Damien of using Lucia's illness for his own purposes, making her think she was living with a ghost. In Inaki's opinion, the best thing Damien could do for Lucia was to leave. Damien no longer wishes to talk to the journalist. He did not have the resolve to leave this house forever. In a fit of anger, he smashed his phone after learning that no one was looking for him. After a while, Lucia went with the daughter to her mother's for a few days. Feed, who was left alone in the house, cleaned himself up. Soon there was a knock at the door. Damien became alert upon hearing a woman's voice. Apparently, it was Feed's mistress. With the door slightly ajar, Damien watched them. He did not know what to do, so he asked Inaki for advice. But the journalist said he was not interested in such stories. In this case, Damien should seek advice from Sergio. In the evening, Feed told Paula that his wife and her brother were allergic to wasp stings. It was precisely because of this that Jorge passed away. By coincidence, Feed had the same allergy. He met Lucia in the hospital. Suddenly, Feed's wife called, asking if everything was okay. Feed lied that he was going to bed. Paula expressed aloud the thought that it would be great if Lucia were stung by a wasp. Then nothing would stop her and Feed from being together. It was at that moment that Damien realized he was where he was supposed to be. At night, when the lovers fell asleep, he came out of the closet, pondering what to do. In the morning, when Feed and Paula went somewhere, Damien found instructions on the internet on how to make a wasp trap. Following the instructions, he took 2 plastic bottles and made a trap, catching the insects. Then Damien put the wasps to sleep with smoke and placed them in the trash. Soon Feed and Paula returned. Feed waved to his neighbor as if nothing had happened. Sitting in the closet, Damien listened as the couple indulged in passion again. Inaki sat together with Damien, asking him if he still considered himself a good person. Paula left, and Feed felt sad. He was cleaning up the house so that his wife wouldn't suspect anything. When Feed opened the trash can, the wasps attacked him. He panicked, running around the house and shouting for help. Soon Damien came out of the closet and witnessed Feed's suffering. A few minutes later, the man passed away. Damien sat nearby, staring at one spot. Only when Lucia and her daughter returned did he hide, listening as Maria screamed upon seeing her father on the floor. The police and exterminators arrived, but they never found the wasp nest. During all this time, Damien sat in a closet, feeling like a god. Declaring the interview over, Damien said goodbye to Inaki. Lucia's mother, who had been here for several days, was getting ready to leave. Lucia went to bed. When she fell asleep, Damien came out of the closet and lay down next to her, hugging. At that moment, Lucia opened